Hey everybody, just wanted to thank you again for attending our virtual workshop. I hope that you enjoyed it. I had a great time working with all of you, and I love seeing familiar faces. So, come back January, February, March. We're going to have 3 more classes that are going to be released, so I hope that I see your lovely faces in those classes. To touch base just quickly on things that I remembered about this particular haircut. You want to make sure that your sections are nice and clean. Remember, we did 4 panels. So also working with your finger length, measuring the head shape out, making sure that you're not working with more than what you can control in your fingers. So everybody's head shape is different. So if you measure the head out with your fingers, putting the comb on top of your fingers and then putting it towards the head, that'll show you exactly where that section should go, okay? Make sure your sections are nice and clean. When we are working with our graduation, we want to remember a few things. That when you're working on your left side, your fingertips will be pointing down, your knuckles will be pointing up, so you're going to be working from the outside in, like this. And then when you're working on your right side, it's going to be your knuckles down and your fingertips out, so you would be working like this. Now, you also want to remember that step back. Everybody has to step back away from your mannequin a little bit. There was a lot of this. So when you are like this, you can't see what's happening here. So that's why I kept telling you, take a half a step back, take a full step back. Also, your body position needs to translate and what shape you're trying to create. So if you're working on a graduated angle, you're working with a diagonal section, like see how I'm doing that like automatically? That's what your body needs to do. Now, if your elbow goes above your shoulder, that means you're too close, okay? Take a step back and you see how my elbow naturally went down. Then I can actually really see what's happening. You also want to make sure that the level of your client, your cutting angle is going to be around in this level, this angle, this area. So your chest would be where low chest would be where your cutting angle should be. So that chair needs to go up and it needs to come back down a few times during the haircut. And keep the hair nice and damp so that your sections, you can see what's happening. They cannot be too thick, those sections, or the graduation will not come out as clean. You're going to work straight out. So comb that hair from the base of your section and comb it right out at 90 degrees, but your angle will be at a 45. Okay, so that's the difference between other graduations. Other graduations, your angle goes down to a 45. And what that's going to do is that's going to build up too much of a weight line. So 90 degrees, your angle will be at a 45, and you're going to work across the back of the head. And with that, you're going to over direct back to your previous section. That's going to allow you to have this really nice graduation that will move from side to side. If you do not work back to your previous section and you just pull out at 90 degrees and you work at a 45, your graduation will be a little bit tighter and you run the risk of layering it out a bit too much, or period, layering it out. So just be very mindful of that. Your second section is the same exact way as the first. So you're going to work from the outside in. You're just going to blend it through, working all the way over. You will cross over one section when you hit the center. You'll do the same thing on both sides. If you wanted to cross check, remember, if it's more than 3 millimeters, you got to do it again the correct way that you did the technique. So from the outside in, okay? When you get to the third section and the the third section, then you're going to be working from the inside out. So diagonal forward sections. So section 1 and 2, diagonal back sections from the outside in. Section 3, diagonal forward sections working from the inside out. You will be over directing back to your previous, And the other thing that we did on this section was we went from graduation into round layering, right? So we started, once we got above the round of the head, we followed the head shape. Now just remember that if you pull this hair all the way back and you just continue that graduated angle, you're gonna have way too much hair on top here. Section 4, what did we do? We came through and now we switched it all up again. Now we worked square. So working with a profile section about an inch or slightly less than an inch wide, you're gonna comb that hair nice and square, straight up at 90 degrees, and you're just gonna cut it, okay? You're going to work down horizontally, over directing up to your previous section. So you're not over directing it all to the center, just to your previous section, okay? Again, keeping it nice and square. Your guide is from section 3. So what you just created in section 3, that would be your guide to your length for that. From there, we went in and we detailed out the fringe area, right? So what we did was we pulled everything straight. First, we sectioned out basically like a slight diagonal back section, over directing that hair all the way forward, elevating straight off the head and cutting it square, point cutting, okay? From there, you're just gonna continue to over direct everything forward until you run out of hair, which for most of us, it was 1 to 2 sections, depending on the length that you have and how short or long you're keeping this fringe area is gonna determine how many sections you have going back. And then we just went through and like free expression. We detailed it out to our own personal creativity. I went through and I took some, did some twist cutting because the front was a little long. So, and I think that most of you did that as well. And then we dried it, right? You all applied the styling balm when the hair was a little bit damp. So your client can either let her hair dry with the styling balm in, or she can dry it. You see how I've finished her off 2 different ways. This is straight, and then I allowed her to, I did a little pinch diffusing, and then most of it's air dried, okay? I'm about 15 minutes after our class, so she's still a little damp on this side. From here, you know, with the straightness, you can really see these layers that came through. Now, a key point to remember is that the volume and the expansion for this shape is around the midsection. It's not on top, okay? This is how you're gonna keep your clients more on trend and up to date. To finish her off, you're going to wanna use the dry texture spray. That's going to add a little bit of hold, but more texture and create more of like a piecey lived-in effect. So that product is great for any type of client that wants, you know, maybe just a little texture. She wants a little bit of hold. Maybe she doesn't want to work with a hairspray. So that's the product that she would use. You can also reapply some styling balm. I did apply some more. You saw that during the class. And that's it. Please, if you have any images that you do, whether it be on your mannequin, whether it be on a human, please post it and tag us. I really want to see what you learned in the class, how you liked it, and I hope to see you again January, February, March. Again, we're going to be doing a long textured styling bit for our first class, and that's going to be styling, learning how to editorial, like to create these looks, and then we're going to go into more precision-based haircuts. So again, a Crew New York Professional, tag us on Instagram, and I hope that you have a great rest of your week, and I hope you enjoyed the class. I'll see you soon.